Clemson goes to South Bend, Indiana to play the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Clemson, a 4.5-point favorite, and let's just call a spade a spade. If Clemson can get over this hurdle, we've talked about the ACC hurdles, right, and how they've got to clear those. I feel like they've cleared most of those. Louisville can get interesting, so we'll talk about that when that gets here. But for the college football playoff, this is the hurdle you have been staring down since you got your schedule, Clemson. The bye week was huge. Because you remember the last time we saw them, there was all that controversy about DJ and Cade, and DJ's still our quarterback, but Cade came in and gave the offense new life, regardless of his stats. And I think it was good for them to get out of the spotlight. I truly do. Didn't play their best against Syracuse, had some calls go their way. Regardless, all their goals very much still in front of them. For Notre Dame, a lot of people wrote them off. After that Marshall loss, said, Marcus Freeman, see ya. Guess that didn't work, right? Like, that was a lot of things that were said about them. They're still a good football team. Won 4 of their last 5, and I promise you, they are salivating. Having one of the top programs in the country coming to their house, in front of their home crowd, and touchdown Jesus, they are welcoming this challenge. In their minds, I would imagine this is a chance for them to reintroduce themselves to the world. And for Marcus Freeman to have a signature win in a lot of ways against one of the top programs in the country. This game's pretty simple. Let's not overcomplicate things. Who's more physical? Who's more physical in the trenches? Wes Goodwin, defensive coordinator for Clemson, came out and said it this week. A lot of times you get coach speak and kind of politically correct, sort of, they're good, we'll try to do this, this, and this. He was pretty upfront. He said they're going to try and run the football and try to get the ball to Michael Mayer. It's that simple. If we can stop that, we win the ball game, is more or less what he said. One, just love for him being so upfront. Makes everything much more simple. He knew it. Notre Dame knew it. But that's really the formula for them. Notre Dame running the football 60% of the time. Audric Estime, 5.5 yards a carry. Clemson, on the flip side, that front 7, they haven't been super consistent all year long, but only giving up 3 yards a carry. Something's got to give. Immovable object. Meet unstoppable force. They will try and win this game up front. Both programs will. On the flip side for Clemson, they want to lean on Will Shipley. Needless to say, the quarterback situation gets a little bit more interesting. The plot thickens, right? I think DJ is still very firmly the starting quarterback. With that being said, I think the margin for error for him, it's a little bit slimmer. And that's what I think the next thing for me is when it comes to this game. Notre Dame allowed less than 100 yards three of their last 5 games. If you do have to lean on DJ, if it does become a matter of, hey, DJ, win the game for us, what kind of DJ do you get? Does last week sort of rattle him, or his game against Syracuse rather? Does that sort of rattle the cage for him and he starts to regress back to 2021 DJ, gets a little bit timid, doesn't take the shots downfield he needs to? Or do we see him take all that external noise, throw on the Beats by Dre headphones, you know what I'm saying? Those old commercials, hear what you want to hear. Play with a new swag, a new chip on his shoulder, big Cinco, come out slinging, and just silence the doubters on the road at Notre Dame. Because if you remember, his first start was actually against Notre Dame. Played pretty well. I'll leave it at that. You can YouTube the highlights, but he played pretty well. So I'm curious to see if DJ doesn't have kind of the start that he wants to have. Is it, hey, first interception, Cade, you're in the ballgame, or do they allow him to play through his mistakes? I would hope it's the latter, because for him to have some adversity, overcome that, play well, get a win in South Bend would do wonders for his confidence in this game, yes, but the rest of the season for Clemson. To know that, hey, I'm the guy, they're going to ride with me, I'm capable of overcoming this in-game adversity, that would be huge for the program. In this game specifically, though, I'm fascinated to see what his approach is, what kind of DJ we get. Because if he does revert back and he does turn the ball over, well, then you're in a dogfight at somebody else's house. Not a good deal for Clemson. Now, here's the backbreaker. Here's what I think is kind of just the ultimately deciding factor in this game. Drew Pine is a very serviceable quarterback. He has not been bad by any stretch of the imagination this year. Are there some games where you wish he played better? Sure. I mean, just ask Tommy Rees. It was well documented, the whole phone call thing, do your job with some extra words mixed in there, we're all counting on you, whatever. That was pretty public, but I think he's been pretty solid all year long. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 61% completion percentage. he hasn't really crashed the bus too frequently. With that being said, Clemson's weakness, quote unquote, where you could probably try and beat them is the secondary. And as good as Michael Mayer is, I don't know that Drew Pyne's the guy to expose that. I don't think that he's the guy that's going to be able to put the pressure on Clemson. That's kind of just the way that this goes. So I think the offense for Clemson has to do something. They can't just be out there and say, defense, go win us this game. The offense has to bring something to the table. I think they will. I think Clemson actually wins this game. DJ plays a better game, a more clean game. I think Will Shipley gets leaned on yet again after the bye week. Hit the cryogenic chamber, at the ice bath, got his fruit smoothie. He's ready to roll. I think Clemson wins this game in South Bend, 31-17. And if you're keeping track, that would be, for a lot of people's money, the last college football playoff hurdle that Clemson will face until the ACC title game. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.